Hola, bienvenidos a otra clase de Satchel con Mr. Castrillón. I am Mr. Castrillón. I would like to welcome you to another session in our Satchel Classes, regular podcast videocast. So today the title is La pasé genial. La pasé genial. So today's topic is about holidays, and it's going to be very useful because we are going to be talking in simple past. Now let's have a look at our objectives or targets for the day. Hoy vamos a repasar vocabulario relacionado con las vacaciones. Vamos a aprender frases en pasado describiendo las vacaciones. Vamos a completar un texto empleando verbos en pasado. Y vamos a escribir en español sobre nuestras vacaciones. Well, that is great. So let's make a start to our lesson. The first thing we are going to do is we are going to practice our pronunciation in Spanish. And today's unique, I would say, combination of letters is going to be QU. Now, QU in Spanish is going to have the sound K, as in English with K. So let's have a look at some words with it. So we have querer. Now, do repeat after me. Querer. Querer. ¿Qué? ¿Qué? Arquitecto. Arquitecto. Pequeño. Pequeño. Obsequio. Obsequio. So these words are very common in Spanish, and the combination QU is very common in Spanish as well. So feel free to pronounce again, but I'm going to give you 1 minute to try and find out what those words mean. Go for it. 1 minute. And our time is up. Now then, querer means to want. Que means what or that, depending on the sentence. Arquitecto, of course, means architect. Pequeño means small. And obsequio means present or gift. Let's continue with our lesson. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to check the important keywords for today. As you can see, we're going to be talking about holidays, las vacaciones. And this is what we do during our holidays. Viajar, comer, alojarse, bailar, nadar, hacer turismo, visitar. So what you need to do now is I'm going to give you a list of translations, but they're not in the right order. Here we go. They are in yellow. So all you need to do is match them up with the right Spanish translation. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to complete this activity. Off you go. And our time is up. Now then, let's see what the translations are for these words. Viajar means to travel. Comer means to eat. Alojarse, to stay at. Bailar, to dance. Nadar, to swim. Hacer turismo, to go sightseeing. And visitar, to visit. All of these words are going to be very important for today's lesson. So let's move on. Now we can talk about what we did in our holidays. So here we go. Viajé, comí, me alojé, bailé, nadé, hice turismo, visité. Couple of things. First one, all of these verbs are in simple past. And of course, as you can see, they have a special, kind of a specific trait, which is that ending vowel or EI and with a special sign or specific sign on top, which is called in Spanish tilde. Now, feel free to take note of those or take a screenshot of with your iPhone or your phone, or even better, take a screenshot with your computer, or feel free to come back to the lesson. Now, all of these verbs are in past. They are from the previous list. And we need to complete this with a nice kind of phrase. Now, you can choose which whatever you want to use, or I'm going to give you a list of options. So feel free to complete the sentence using any of the words or phrases on the right hand side. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for you to complete the sentences. Off you go. As a challenge, try to translate them. And our time is up. Now, before I give the answers, let's check the words that I have in the box in yellow. Well, some of the words that you might not know will be, say, for instance, piscina. That means swimming pool. Now, there are other words like varios, which is several. And of course, we have the bottom one, which is ritmos tradicionales or tradicionales. And that's, of course, traditional rhythms. Now, let's see what the answers are for this exercise. Here we go. Feel free to repeat after me. Viajé en avión y en tren. Comí en varios restaurantes. Me alojé en un hotel. Bailé ritmos tradicionales. Nadé en la piscina. Hice turismo con mis padres. Visité museos y parques. Well, what about the translation to each of those? Well, the first one says, I travel on a plane and on or by train and by plane. Comí en varios restaurantes means I ate in different restaurants. I stayed at a hotel is the third sentence. I danced traditional rhythms. That's the fourth one. Nadé en la piscina can be translated as I swam in the swimming pool. Hice turismo con mis padres is I went sightseeing with my parents. And finally, I visited museums and parks. How did that go? I hope it went really well. Now, let's continue with our lesson. Here we have this very happy fella, and he went on holidays. So you're going to listen to a native speaker. The first thing we are going to do is we are going to listen to him. So let's go and let's do that.
Fui a España el verano pasado. Me alojé en un hotel 5 estrellas y fue muy costoso. Comí en varios restaurantes comida típica de la región. Me gustó mucho comer paella, particularmente porque tiene mucha comida de mar. Finalmente, fui a museos. Fue lo más interesante en mi opinión.
Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a list of things that we need to say whether it is true or false. So let's see. He went to Mexico. He stayed at a 5-star hotel. The hotel was cheap. He hates seafood. He went to museums. And finally, he thinks the food was the most interesting. So we are going to replay our listening and our recording. And what we're going to do is we're going to say which ones are true and which ones are false. Let's listen again.
Fui a España el verano pasado. Me alojé en un hotel 5 estrellas y fue muy costoso. Comí en varios restaurantes comida típica de la región. Me gustó mucho comer paella, particularmente porque tiene mucha comida de mar. Finalmente, fui a museos. Fue lo más interesante en mi opinión.
Okay. Now then, before we continue, I'm going to actually show you the transcript of this recording. And what we're going to do is we're going to listen to him again.
Fui a España el verano pasado. Me alojé en un hotel 5 estrellas y fue muy costoso. Comí en varios restaurantes comida típica de la región. Me gustó mucho comer paella, particularmente porque tiene mucha comida de mar. Finalmente, fui a museos. Fue lo más interesante en mi opinión.
Good. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 minutes to read and try to find the information in the text. And of course, your mission is to find what is true or it is false. 2 minutes for that. 3 minutes for that. Off you go. Okay, let's see how that went. The first sentence says he went to Mexico. Now he says, fui a España el verano pasado. That means that our first one will be false. So the first one is false. Then the second one says he stayed at a 5-star hotel. The next sentence on the transcript says me alojé en un hotel 5 estrellas. Therefore, that is true. Then we have the third sentence. The hotel was cheap. Now let's see what he says about the hotel. Me alojé en un hotel 5 estrellas y fue muy costoso. Now, costoso in Spanish means expensive. Therefore, the sentence is false. The next one says he hates seafood. So let's have a look and see where he does. Comí en varios restaurantes comida típica de la región. Me gustó mucho comer paella, particularmente porque tiene mucha comida de mar. Now, he liked paella because he has seafood. Therefore, he doesn't hate it. He actually likes it. So this is false. He went to museums. Finalmente, fui a museos, which means that is true. And finally, he thinks the food was the most interesting. Now, according to him, finalmente fui a museos fue lo más interesante en mi opinión. This is a this is a bit hard because we don't have a lot of information, but we can assume with confidently that he actually likes museums, and that was the most interesting to him. But it wasn't the food, so this is false. There we go. So we have false, true, false, false, true, and false. Let's move on with our lesson. Now, we can actually say when we went on holidays. We can use el verano pasado, el mes pasado, el año pasado, la semana pasada, las vacaciones pasadas. And of course, we have last summer, last month, last year, last week, last holidays. And of course, these are translations for each one of those. Feel free to take pen and paper and write them down. Now then, how are we going to use these ones? Well, we are going to write a nice paragraph with these three structures. We have the verbs in past, we have what we did or how we did it, and finally when we did it. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write 5 sentences, which are going to help you to write a paragraph. So off you go. Now, I would suggest for you to do the following. Start with the yellow section, go to the pink and then white, or do white, yellow, pink. And our time is up. I hope you managed to write a paragraph with at least 5 sentences. Remember, you can come back and actually check these slides and this video again. So today we have revised vocabulary related to holidays. We learned how to make sentences in past describing our holidays. We listened to a native speaker and answered questions about his holidays. And finally, we created sentences describing what we did during our holidays. In the meantime, I would like to wish you really well, and I hope to see you very soon. Goodbye.